Hi, I've come outside today into the field and I want to talk about schemas. So schemas seem to follow on naturally from life story work when we start spotting patterns. And I want to use the field as a metaphor. Really, I'd need some artistic license from us all for beautiful long grass, blue sky, warm and sunny. And I want it to represent our brains when we are born. And we start our life and start journeying on our life with caregivers, parents, caregivers, and we start making our way through the field. And obviously we're taken on these journeys because we're infants and children and adolescents. And some journeys, some pathways form in the field. And those pathways can become very well trodden. But on the pathways aren't necessarily always lovely things. Sometimes there can be anger and upset and feelings of being unwanted or unloved. So these are not being good enough, for instance. And these pathways get well used. And then we move to adulthood. And we have the same field, same brain, we have the same pathways, they're neural pathways, but this time the environment all around our field is different because we have left home, we've probably got a new workplace, we're with different people. But the schemas, those pathways, are still there. The beauty of adulthood is, and when we know our schemas, is we can pause and choose differently and take a different path. We don't have to go down that beautiful pathway that's full of that well-known pathway that's full of uncertainty. Certainly not beautiful. We don't have to go down that, but the brain loves us to go down that because what brains like is what's known and certain. And it doesn't mean it's safe, it doesn't mean it's right. And that's where schemas don't always serve us in adulthood. So we have to have that level of agency, and that sometimes means knowing our schemas, pausing, and then we can choose differently because we've got this vast expanse of choice to make a different choice in our lives. So some examples of very well-known schemas is I'm not good enough. So some people, for instance, even our generation say very short things like I'm no good at maths or I couldn't do that. And then examples of other schemas are I need to stay in control. And that's because at home, for instance, it could have been there could have been inconsistencies with caregivers, people coming, leaving. That could have also meant that the food cupboard was inconsistent and clean uniform. So people in adulthood can then be big planners, feel anxious when the planning isn't quite right, and it can impact relationships and all different facets and aspects of our life. So schemas are really, really powerful, and we work with them in the mind psychologist model to just identify them, and when you know them, it's really the time where you can do something about them. I'm Tara Dakin, I'm the mind psychologist. Have a good day.